Welcome to the Scottish Borders Communities Mental Health and Wellbeing Fund 2024. We hope this video can be used as an additional tool for the Scottish Borders for community groups and organisations interested in applying to the fund. We'll provide as much information as possible in this video, but please note this video is not a replacement for the fund guidance, and that is available on the Borders Community Action website. The Scottish Government established this fund in October 2021, and it has so far distributed £51 million to community initiatives supporting mental health and wellbeing in Scotland. This fourth year of the funding of £15 million was announced in March 2024. The Scottish Borders allocation for the fund is £320,000. The fund was managed previously by our colleagues in Dumfries and Galloway TSI, while the Borders TSI went through a review. Now, with Borders Community Action being the new third sector interface in the Borders, the fund will be fully managed and administrated in the Borders. New elements of the fund bring a stronger focus to the priorities identified by people with lived experience and strategic partnerships in the Scottish Borders. The fund supports rural communities by promoting good mental health, addressing distress and mental ill health in adults. It focuses on prevention, early intervention, mental health inequalities, social isolation, loneliness, suicide prevention, and poverty. It supports grassroots organisations, encourages community connections, and aims to revitalise communities. In 2024, we will be looking for more project proposals related to the main barriers to participation in community activities reported by people with lived experience. This would include the development of natural networks of support embedded in the community, facilitation of friendships, informal support and peer support, for example. It would also include work related to bereavement or loss, trauma, and transport and accessible spaces. Specifically, the intended outcomes of the fund are to develop a culture of mental well-being and prevention within local communities, to foster a strategic and preventative approach to improving community mental health, and to support the resilience of communities, investing in their capacity to develop their own local solutions through strong local partnerships. Also, to tackle the social determinants of mental health by targeting resources and collaborating with other initiatives to tackle poverty and inequality. A range of different groups are eligible to apply. We have listed them here for you, and they're also available in the fund guidance. Please note that parent councils are eligible to apply subject to the following conditions. The funded activities must meet the aims of the fund and specifically must focus on supporting young people who are aged 16 or over, or supporting adults rather than their children. Any parent council applying to this fund must have a statutory duty to keep proper accounts. They may already have this set up if they're registered with OSCA. Projects can be funded if they are a community-based initiative that promotes and develops good mental health and well-being, and or mitigates and protects against the impact of distress and mental ill health within the adult population in the Scottish Borders. In addition, this fund will prioritise initiatives that deliver the following: tackling mental health inequalities, including support to at-risk groups. These are identified in the equalities section of the fund guidance, as well as to support the general population. It will also prioritise initiatives that address priority issues of social isolation and loneliness, suicide prevention and poverty, and inequality, with particular emphasis on responding to the cost of living crisis and support those facing socio-economic disadvantage. The fund mustn't be seen as a way to replace other funding streams, but the fund can support both existing and new projects, however. New local projects and ideas aimed at tackling the priorities of the fund are encouraged. Projects funded through the first 3 years of the fund are eligible to apply again. Existing projects should clearly articulate how they will build on learning from previous years to develop and improve. For Year 4, there should be continued effort to reach underrepresented at-risk groups in the Scottish Borders area. Projects must also have a specific community focus rather than providing regional or national coverage. We've provided a list of the types of costs which can be funded here and also the ones which cannot be funded. These are also available in the funding guidance. Small capital costs of up to £5,000 can be included as part of an application, and we would prefer at least 2 quotes for such costs. There are 3 sizes of grants available. The small grants are between £250 and £10,000. Community groups and organisations providing activities, including those with little or no experience in handling funds, are welcome to apply, provided that they are willing to commit to simplified project monitoring and evaluation requirements. Applications to the small grants will have a larger chance of success. This is because it's a requirement from the Scottish Government that a larger part of the total funds should be allocated to small and medium grants to enable a spread of activities to happen across communities. The second type of fund that's available, the medium grants, offer from between £10,001 and £20,000. These are for organisations with previous experience in handling grants and delivering projects in the community. You'll be required to provide more detailed monitoring and evaluation of your activities. Please make sure you consider other projects and organisations operating in the area. We welcome collaborations and partnerships. Large grants of between £20,001 and £40,000 are also available. These are for organisations with wide experience in handling funds. You'll be required to provide stronger evidence of need and solid partnership agreements. National organisations can only apply to this fund if they can demonstrate they have built partnerships with locally based Borders organisations. You'll be required to provide detailed monitoring and evaluation of your activities. And please make sure you explain the role of your partners in the delivery of your project. The fund will be open for applications on the 1st of August at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and will close on the 20th of September 2024. Please make sure you check the fund criteria before applying and reflect this in your application. To be eligible, you must make sure that you have checked all of the guidance and that your project meets the requirement and criteria and that you've answered all the relevant questions in the application form. Your application should make clear how your project will improve mental well-being for the participants of the project. It should demonstrate how your project is embedded in the community and involves volunteers. Please mention any partnerships. Also, please ensure that your budget is appropriate and consider additional funding needs for inclusivity. And mention other contributions to the project, for example, match funding. Other considerations for the community's mental health and wellbeing fund in the Borders are the Ways to be Well in the Scottish Borders. This has been developed by our colleagues from NHS Borders, based on evidence of things people can do to stay well. Community groups and organisations can use the Ways to be Well as a reference to their proposals. These look at eating well, physical activity, and feeling connected with others, for example. Information on the Ways to be Well can be found on our website. Also, the Scottish Government mandates that funded organisations add their project details to the ALICE database. This stands for a Local Information System for Scotland. This supports the social prescribing agenda and aids in creating a database of organisations in the Scottish Borders. Support is also available for you to add your project information to the ALICE database. Successful applicants will be asked to adhere to all monitoring, evaluation and reporting requirements in the grant offer letter. These will be proportionate to the size of the grant being awarded. A copy of the evaluation form will be sent with all other paperwork to the successful applicants. Borders Community Action holds overall responsibility for overseeing the progress of the community's Mental Health and Wellbeing Fund in the Scottish Borders. Local projects will be required to cooperate with the reporting so that Borders Community Action can provide accurate information to the Scottish Government according to set deadlines. Where possible, we will try to keep the reporting light touch. However, you will still be required to provide a mix of images, photos of your activities, feedback and quotes from participants, and the number of activities planned, delivered, and the number of type of beneficiaries. The main focus of the fund is on small grassroots projects. The small grants make up the large share of the fund, where most of the total fund will be allocated. The recommendation from Scottish Government is to target organisations with less than £1 million to ensure grassroots organisations are supported. This gives an example of what size of organisation can apply for the fund. Other frequently asked questions are, can unconstituted groups apply for the grant? Yes, they can. They can apply for small value grants, and Borders Community Action can offer support to groups to become constituted. However, these unconstituted groups will need to identify a host partner to hold the funds on their behalf. Another frequently asked question is, can previously funded projects apply again for round 4? Yes, if you've applied for rounds 1, 2 and 3, you can also apply for round 4 for either a new or a continuation project. We'll be looking to achieve a balance of existing and new projects. Number 4, how and when will the funding decisions be made? Applications will be checked as they're submitted. Eligible applications will be sent to the independent scoring panel. The scoring panel will look at each application, ensuring all applications are in line with the fund criteria and have met the requirements for the small, medium and large funds. The applications are then reviewed by the Borders Community Action team and presented to the steering group. This is a group of people representing mental health and wellbeing strategic priorities. Decisions for the small and larger funds will be made via a panel in late November using predetermined marking criteria and scoring. Applicants will be notified of the decision and grant offer letters will be sent and payments made in January and February. The applicants will be notified of the decision in December prior to the award letters being sent out, I should have said. Number 5, what is the timescale? The fund covers the financial year 2024 to 25. However, projects can have up to 18 months from receiving funds to be fully completed. Most projects to date have been for less than for 12 months or less. Number 6. Can an organisation use this fund to match fund another project that's already funded by the Scottish Government? Yes, but it must be for an additional activity, and activities cannot be double funded. Number 7. Will there be any continuation or recurring funding? There is no confirmation of funding beyond year 4 of the fund from the Scottish Government. For this reason, funding continues to be time limited, and therefore applications to the fund should be sought for time limited projects and tests of change. Number 8. Can churches and religious bodies apply for the fund? Yes, they can, as long as the project is consistent with the aims of the fund. It cannot be used to fund religious or campaigning activities, and the activities must not be restricted only to members of the faith-based organisation. Number 9. Are there any new conditions for this round? As touched on previously, there's 2 new conditions for this round. One is that all organisations will be required to add details of funded projects to the ALICE database, and also that we encourage groups and organisations to link their proposals with the ways to be well in the Scottish Borders. Please refer to our Frequently Asked Questions document, which is available on the Borders Community Action website. This fund will close for applications at 5 o'clock on Monday, the 30th of September. This final slide gives an overview of what happens next and when decisions can be expected. A range of support sessions will be taking place online and in person across localities, and they are available for applicants over the next few months. Please visit the Borders Community Action events section on the website for details and to book a slot. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to receiving your application.